All right, welcome to Lab 0. Let's go over it and let you get started. So pull open that PDF write-up because this is going to be very, very useful to you as you work on the lab. So this is going to be done on the class server. All right, so first thing that you got to do is connect to that class server. So get on PuTTY, get in your terminal, however you want to do it, but get into your class server account, please. I'll walk you through it. So here I am logging in myself. And there we are. All right, so I'm on the class server. I have a blank slate. I showed you a few things last time. Let me get rid of everything so only the relevant things are things that you get to see. You can keep your stuff as they were. I think I had anything in there. Yeah. All right, so now I have an empty blank slate, nothing in my home folder. All right. So the very first thing you do is get the starter code for the lab. So I've made a cute little gimme command that does that for us. So you'll say gimme name of the lab at name of the class. So you'll say gimme lab 00 at CSCI 45. And what that will do is it will copy lab 00 into your current working directory. So you could get it there. You could also, let me remove it. It depends on where you want to do your work. So maybe you want to work in the home folder. Maybe you want to work in a folder called labs. You want to like make sure keep things nice and clean inside of your home folder. So you can make a folder called labs in your home directory, cd into that, and then if you run gimme, it'll just place it into wherever you were in your current directory. So now in my home folder, there's a labs folder, and in the labs folder is the lab 00 folder, and you cd into that. And there's a few files, and these are the pieces of starter code that I gave you. Okay, so there's a few parts to this lab. The first part is do Hello World, just as a warm-up. This lab is not hard. It's just like practice exactly what I showed in class. Easy grade. So please make sure to turn it in by the due date listed on Canvas. But the very first thing for you to do is to print exactly the following to the output, to the standard output, right? This and a new line. So print exactly hello, comma, space, world, exclamation point, space, I am ready for CSCI 45, exclamation point, and then a new line, right? So it's got to go, the file names are very important. It's got to go in hello.s, and it's got this is the output you need to see. That's exactly what I have an auto grader, and that's going to be looking for that. All right, so that's the exact output you want to see here. And so yeah, edit it how you know. I'll show you how to do it in Nano, just in case you haven't learned Vim yet. You'll say Nano to edit a file. You say Nano space name of the file. And so here, I've given you a bit of a start to everything. Pun intended, I guess. And you got to fill in the rest. All right, so let me fill in a bit of it for you. Let me do most of this for you. You are welcome. All right, so let's do Hello World program. So I need to put a string in the data section. This is what we did in class. Hello string, ASCII. I'll do it wrong though. I'll make the text wrong. Hello World. I'll just do Hello World new line. And we determined that was 14 characters, I think. And so I'll do the syscall, the right syscall, right? I'll do x8 gets the number 64. I'll do W0, we want to print to the standard out. That's file number 1. X1 needs to be the address of the string. And then X2 needs to be the number of bytes to write to that file. And it's going to be 14 apparently, if it's this particular string. And then, yeah, we're ready to do this is called SVC number 0. So that'll write the file, or that'll write the text to the file, which is really the terminal stream. And then we have to, of course, stop the program. We still have to do the exit syscall. So move x8, it's what, 93. The return code should be 0, always. And then we would like to do SVC number 0. Again, that's running the exit syscall this time. We're setting up the exit syscall. And so that is most of the Hello World program. save it, and now we'll assemble and link it. Hello.s -o hello.o ld hello.o -o hello, and then cross our fingers, we get hello world. Nice. So this is not the right output, but it's close to it. So you're welcome. You got most of it done. And that's the first part of your lab. That's honestly all that you're turning in. All that you're getting graded on is this. But I want you to do the rest of the lab, please, because it will very much help you for everything else that that's going to come after this. So the rest of this, you're not going to turn in. All these other programs that start with GDB, they're just for you to get practice with GDB, and I highly encourage you to do them. Don't slack off, please. GDB is going to save your life in this class. So please go through every GDB blank file and compile it with debugging stuff. So do the -g as you compile them, and then it will all work out. All right. So then I also have a assembly file. Right. So you're going to compile that with as-g and then ld. Technically, you don't need the -g for ld, but just do it anyway. That's what I was doing in class. So then you can run them all inside of GDB. And so I gave you a bunch of things to do. gdb1.cbp. Actually, let's just look at them all. Vim gdb star. So here we go. So like here's me asking you to do stuff. Like, all right, set a breakpoint on the next non-comment line. Look at the register values. Like do all these things, right? Follow any of the registers that look like addresses. Go to them. Inspect them with the X. All right? All that fun stuff. So set a breakpoint. And then here's a loop. See what happens in a loop, because you'll use step, right? You can use step to keep on going through things. That's the idea. You can also use next if you don't want to like go into the cout stuff, but I think it should be fine. Yeah. You can use continue to continue from wherever you were stopped to the end of the program. Just get some practice with GDB. So that was GDB1, GDB2, has some weird stuff going on, and it's going to segfault. Use GDB to figure out why. What was in P? This one has some set a breakpoint to the start of main. You can say break main. That's a thing. That's totally possible. Give the label value. And you can say disassemble to show the assembly code. You can use step I. I want you to use step I this time to step through the assembly code equivalents of all these things. And that'll tell you like, okay, what's the assembly for X++? What did that get translated into? You'll get to see that, which is really nice. All right, all that kind of stuff. And then I gave you one assembly file here. And I gave you a bunch of stuff. And I want you to set a breakpoint and step through everything, figure out what X3 is. Can you guess what's going on? All right, like what happened? Okay. I think that is what I wanted to tell you. So yeah, now you'll get some experience with GDB under your belt, and that will just make your life so much easier as the class progresses. But the only thing that you're turning in is the hello.s file. It's got to be called exactly that. And the way to turn it in is you can only turn things in on the class server. I've made a special turn in command for us. So if you work on your own, you got to bring the file back. And you say turn in, name of the lab at name of the class, and then you space separate all of the files that you want to turn in. And it's just this one. Okay? So you'll say, let me do it for you. I'm going to get a 0 because I messed up. I didn't give the right answer. But you'll see the process. So I'll say turn in lab00 at CSCI45, and then all the files you want to turn in. I'll say hello.s. And then if all goes well, the auto grader will start. So I've made a fun little auto grader that will give you your grade very, very quickly. I worked very hard on it, so I hope that you enjoy it. So what it's going to do is it's going to grade your program. It's going to grade your submission. And hopefully you don't see any errors here. Yell at me if you do. But it should say eventually started, then finished. And there's 2 ways to look at your grade. You could use the view grades command on the terminal, or you can look at it on the website. I highly encourage you to use the website instead of the terminal, but you can use the terminal in a pinch. And then once it's done, it's like, all right, I'm done now. You can press Control-C to get back to the terminal. And if you're on a Mac, it's still Control-C, not Command-C. So now we're back on the terminal. I could use view grades to view my grade, or I could go to the class website. I'm going to show you that first because that's the way I want you to do it. So go to www.lawtonsclass.com. Log in as yourself. Remember that the username is the same on the class website and the class server, but the password is not necessarily the same. I set them off the same at the start of the class, but right now you may have changed one to be one and one to be the other. Still the same username though. So I'll log in as my test student. Of course, I messed up. Did I do it right? Cool. So in this lab grades bit, it's going to show just one, honestly, but I'm testing multiple classes right now. But here it is. You'll see lab 00 at CSCI 45. You click it, and it shows you your grade. It's like, all right, you got a 0, and here's why. It's very, very helpful, very color coordinated. So on the left is your output. On the right is the expected output. The minus and the plus are extra. It's like if you subtract this line and added this line, it's called a diff. That's what it's showing you. This isn't actually part of your output. If you subtracted this line and added this line, that's what it's saying. It would have been correct. So it's like you can see like, oh, okay, I missed this stuff. I'll go and add that and resubmit. Okay, so that's how that works, and that's how you can get a full grade, full credit, if you just keep on redoing it before the due date. Okay, so that is your lab 0, and you can also look at your grades with the view grades command. View grades, and then you give what option grade if you want to look at it. Usually you want option 0. That's always the most recent one. So I want to look at option number 0, which is this grade. There should only be one for you because you're not in multiple classes. So I'll type 0, hit enter, and then it shows me my grade in a text-based way, which is not as useful. It's not color coordinated. At least this one I can understand, but some of them, they get harder. So probably better to use the website. So there's that. I think that's all that I wanted to show there. And yeah, that's your first lab. So you're only turning in this file. Please do the GDB stuff though. Ask me if you have any questions about it. It is going to save your life later. And yeah, that auto grader will grade your stuff pretty quickly, in theory. Yell at me if any time it gives you an error. I will hopefully fix it quickly. And yeah, you can resubmit as much as you want. That's probably what you wanted to hear. You can resubmit as much as you want before the due date. It's your last submission that counts. So remember that if it's late, I take off half credit, so keep that in mind as you're working on stuff. So try to get as much as you can done before the due date. You should not have any trouble for this first lab. Okay, so yeah, that's everything that I want to show you. That concludes the first week of class. We got through a lot. Please yell at me with all the questions that you have. Come to my office hours every day if you need to. I will make sure you understand this stuff. It's my job. But yeah, with that, have a good weekend, I guess, and I will see you next week.